Call to order the meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Grand Marais Public Library on Thursday, June 24th, 2021. And we'll do our roll call and introduction. Michael.
Yes.
Dave. Here. Sarah. Yeah.
Here.
Kevin. Here. And new, I guess, guest and hopefully board member here, Enno. Also here. Yeah. Thank you. We have our agenda laid out here. First thing is the consent agenda. Hope everyone had a chance to look through the minutes. Any corrections to those that anyone found? Or any questions for the bills? Nope. I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
And I guess we don't have to do roll call votes anymore. That's pretty fantastic.
Whoa.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One thing we probably want to add is the oath of office for Enno. And we could probably do that right now if you'd be so kind.
Yep. Actually, we should have added that to the agenda, shouldn't we?
Okay. Yep.
We had that. So.
Point taken.
Yes.
But I think you just have to read the statement out loud, and we are your witnesses, and sign, and then it's official.
All right. I do swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States and of this state, to discharge faithfully the duties of this office to the best of my judgment and ability, to represent the Grand Marais Public Library both to the people and to governing officials, to see that the adequate funds are obtained for good library service, to promote the best possible use of all library resources in the area, to encourage cooperative activities between different types of libraries, and to extend library service to those previously not served.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you for stepping up, and would you like to introduce yourself and just a little bit about you and your interest in libraries?
My name is Reverend Enno Lemvier. I'm the designated pastor up in at the First Congregational Church here in Grand Marais. I've served on various committees and boards and with various groups in my four previous churches and communities, and so looking for a way to get involved into this community and to learn. I grew up in rural North Dakota, so we had a bookmobile that we had a library, but we also had a bookmobile that came from the county library, and I would probably check out about 7 books on average each month to run through. And of course it was Louis the Moore, Hardy Boys, and Conan and those things, but
They count.
but they count. So yeah, always appreciated what libraries did for the community and what they serve, and excited to be, hopefully I can add something and help this continue.
I'd say you already have. Thank you.
That's great.
Okay. And maybe we should go around and introduce ourselves as well. And I'll start. My name's Dave Mills. I'm County Commissioner, current board chair, and the current president of the library board. And this is my... Well, I was on the city council and then served on the library board. And I was going to say, this is my this is almost my 3rd year of being a commissioner. So, yeah, we're all fairly new here. Amanda is also fairly new, and so we're all growing into this, into our roles here, and but all have, I'd say, a shared mission, vision, and shared values. So, who would like to introduce? Sarah, would you like to?
I'm Sarah McManus. I just joined the library board in March, so I'm fairly new as well. I live out in Lutzen and work at Arrowhead Electric Co-op.
And I'm Mike Gary, and I was elected last fall to the city council. And so as part of being on city council, I am here on the library board.
Yeah, I'm Kevin LeBoer, and you know mostly about me, but I've been involved in libraries for a very long time, either as a patron or employee or whatever. And been a financial person in a lot of places, so that helps here too.
Yep.
And we do have Sue joining us. Sue, thank you for joining. I didn't necessarily expect you, especially if you're out of the area, but thank you. Can you hear everyone okay?
Not very well, but I'll give it a shot.
Okay. And I know it's, we have to be conscious, I guess. Yeah, the mics are on, so if we can talk into the mic, it'll probably help Sue and the public in general for the recording. So,
Yep.
Sue, we were just doing some introductions for our new board member, Enno. And would you like to introduce yourself as well?
Enno, I'm Sue McClone from Bearskin Lodge. I keep promising to come to your Tai Chi class with Carol and Barb, and I never make it, but one of these days I will.
Awesome. I will too.
It's open to anyone.
And of course, Amanda, would you like to introduce yourself and Kristen?
Yeah, so I'm Amanda. I'm the library director. I've been with Grand Marais Library since January of 2017. And Steve, the prior director, resigned in October of 2019. I came on in February, and bam, we had a pandemic. It's been a lot of fun. And also behind me, we have Kristen Wozzeski, and she comes to us with a wealth of experience from Douglas County as well as Viking System. Am I correct?
Douglas County, Benson Public.
Benson Public.
And the hospital in Mankato as a medical librarian.
And the medical librarian experience. So that's us.
Ta-da! And Patrick is communications director, or is it? Yeah, for the city of Grand Marais. But he's not on the microphone, so that's why I'm talking. Oh, okay. It's the man with the mic. All right. Well, that brings us right down to the library director's report.
Okay. So I just want everybody to be on the same page that the library board's budget will be presented to City Council on next Wednesday, June 30th. And so I know Michael will be there, I will be there, and then Dave, I'm not sure if you're going to come or not, and whether you're going to join in person or digitally.
I am very willing to be there and support the proposal.
Okay. So
In person.
And it starts at 6:30?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So we'll just kind of be on board around that time. I do want to say that this is kind of mixed news, I suppose. Chris McPherson, who left the board in January of this year, did pass away on Sunday from a brain tumor illness that she had. She was just so fantastic to work with, and she had a wealth of library experience, being herself a reference and instruction librarian with St. Olaf since 1982, the year I was born. So really, a really special relationship with her, and so sorry to see her go, but relieved to see her out of pain. And then our liaison to the ALS governing board is Helen Muth, and she's not with us here tonight, but she did want to say, she had talked to us a little bit about a legislative bill that
Right.
was supposed to help increase and recalculate funding for the regional public libraries. And she wanted to let us know that it did not go through, other priorities were selected. I don't think any of the funding gets decreased, but it's just not going to get recalculated this year. And that's her message. Any questions about library operations or any other reports right now?
Well, I feel like a lot has changed at the library since we last met. Can you give updates, like
Yeah, sure.
verbal update, just as far as, the rundown? There were age restrictions, and now it seems like but there's still.
Okay, yeah. So the library is no longer mandating masks, but we are preferring them, and staff are modeling face coverings because, especially for our youngest members who are not yet eligible to be vaccinated, we're just trying to show some solidarity there. Because we're no longer enforcing anything like social distancing, hand washing, or face coverings, then we did have in place 11 and under must be accompanied by an adult, but that's also removed. So in general, youths should be attended by adults. It's in the best interest of the family, but there's not an age limit right now for what that looks like. We are doing our first in-person program since the pandemic. There is a Wondrous Readers Society happening on Fridays for youths, and that's where our children's librarian reads from chapter books to the youths who come, and they get to have beverages and color and hang out and be silly, and that's happening on the lawn in front of the library. We also did our summer reading registration on the lawn with a story stroll, so that was fantastic too. And I just feel like every week we're rolling something new out. So we had our early literacy program come out, the Reading Ready, for our youngest in the community, ages 0 through about 7, when they're reading when they're reading on their own. And then also we're doing our summer reading program. I'm just scanning my report here, see if there's anything else. We did find a custodian, super excited about that, and we were able to extend her help to another department in the city, so she's working with parks too.
Great.
And then we did have a library clerk, Judy Vidic, resigned. Her position is now open. And I think that covers the good goods.
Is the tech stuff taken care of?
No,
Oh.
so there are our security layers on our public access computers. They've been kind of problematic since we've had them, but we've limped along and made it work. And with the most recent Windows 10 updates, they're no longer cooperating. I did look into another piece of software to just see if there was something a little more compatible and current. But that route isn't working, so it's taking some time to get all of this fixed, especially since IT is not a strength of mine or necessarily anybody's in the libraries, but I think we have a path forward.
Okay. Do you need anything from the board to help you along there?
Right now, I don't.
Okay.
Thanks.
And when you were saying about hiring a professional, you just meant like stopgap, you didn't mean like on staff, you just meant like, oh, we need somebody to come in and do this.
Yeah, so from time to time, we consult with Sundew Technology to get some extra support.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I would do in that case. And also, some of these software pieces have tech support, so I'm talking with folks on the phone a lot.
Okay.
Sue, I'm sorry, do you have any questions for Amanda in her report? Okay. And could you hear her okay? Okay. good.
Pretty much, close.
Okay. Great. Well, and thank you for the continuing ed updates too. I love to hear about that and want to encourage that, because I think it's really important just for your development and for staff development and library as a whole. So, anyone else have any questions for Amanda? One thing I guess that wasn't necessarily in the report, but I'd like to talk about just a little bit is just about meeting in city council chambers. That's a different way of doing things than we have in the past before the pandemic, and I'm not against it by any means, but it is a very different feel than meeting in the library proper. And so just was curious about kind of that conversation and discussion and how the board feels about that too.
So, yeah, I guess the piece I can contribute is that I know City Hall has wanted the library to broadcast their board meetings the way that the other departments have. They've been wanting that for some time. With the pandemic, getting us all virtually connected and streaming, I think the hope here is that we'll just continue that for the public.
Got it.
Yeah, I think it's great to give more access and to, have a meeting attendable by remotely. I think is really nice too, and we just much broader outreach. People can view it after the fact. So, but it sure is nice to meet among books. Maybe we can get. I think there used to be a bunch of books from the book sale, but I think the liquor store took over that. If we could just line the walls, I'm certain City Hall would like that.
Absolutely. Hey, maybe you could put up some wallpaper with books.
Right. Just the faux books. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Amanda. And that moves us on to the committee reports, of which we don't have any. That moves us down to the communications. Aside from that, those two fund statements.
I had a question. Who manages these funds?
Duluth Superior Community Foundation.
Okay.
They are the managing, and then St. Paul and Minnesota Community.
They are the managing entity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they manage them. And we have had conversations in the not too distant past about their performance and also what our expectations are. And and I don't remember exactly the details, but there are restrictions with the Duluth Superior Community Foundation that made it so we almost like we couldn't move that into a different fund. And so that caused quite a stir. But then just talking about what are our goals with that money, and we're not necessarily looking to maximize every dollar with that because we are a public entity. We are supported by public tax dollars and not necessarily foundations. We want to kind of maintain that structure. At least that was the conversations we had then. But if you want to talk more about that, we can look at that again in the future.
I don't necessarily want to manage them. I was just kidding. I don't want to be the fund manager, let's be clear.
Well, no, I wasn't going there either.
But, yeah, we get these reports, and I was wondering, so who is it that makes the decisions? So those funds are managed by those two entities?
Yep. They are the managers. And my initial, I guess returns aside, my initial, leaning would be like, oh, Duluth Superior, that's local, right? That's who we'd want to work more with. But then when you started looking at restrictions or impacts, and then we decided that all of the, I don't even remember what the term is, but the returns, I guess for lack of a better word, just to put that back into the St. Paul and Minnesota Community Foundation and try to build that one more so.
I think I may have a little bit of information about the funds and how they perform that I could distribute in your next board packet. Also, I know that each of the funding entities, each of these entities would be more than willing to chat with any board member and go through it with you personally if you want to set up a phone call or something. I can help facilitate all of that.
And Dave, could I follow up? You were saying there were restrictions on the Duluth Superior one, and what did you mean in terms of how we use it, or did you mean in?
Yeah, there was something goofy with a donor wanting to move money out of that fund into a different fund and not being able to do that, and seeing a lot of problems with that because they donated that money or whatever. And so that was my memory of the restrictions there, is just how money could be moved.
Okay.
Not so much how it could be used.
Okay.
But I think there are
Well,
restrictions there too.
Usually are. Just curious. Okay.
So yes, That's it for communications. Unfinished business and new business are both blank. And now that we're meeting in person, maybe we could talk about some new business ideas. The strategic plan is something that's, one of our tasks as a board of trustees. And so probably for next meeting, I would suggest we take a look at that. If Amanda, you could send out the direct link or even document, and then we can put that on next month's meeting and take our first dive into that. And,
Okay,
if everyone's cool with that.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Sue, is that okay with you? Uh-oh. Sue, can you hear me? Nope. Sue, can you hear us? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it comes and goes.
I'll try to be more conscious of speaking into the microphone. We were just talking about on next month's meeting, diving back into the strategic planning, which is one of our primary tasks as a board of trustees. So, yeah.
I got that much. So.
Okay. Well, that was about it. Does anyone else have any questions or concerns that they would like brought up for next meeting?
Who maintains the library's web page? I noticed today that it was still advertising things that happened last week.
Oh, I'll take a look.
The Muffin Man on Saturday.
Juneteenth.
Mhm.
Juneteenth?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. But it still works very wonderfully because I got my book from Silver Bay.
Yeah, I have to say, on a personal note, it's very exciting to have things operating again, mostly normal, and just having that resource, particularly for the family, I think is just wonderful. So, really appreciate all the staff's work and tolerance and patience, and it's just wonderful, and you're doing a great job.
Thanks, I'll pass it on.
Right.
Okie dokie. Well, without anything else, we have our next library board meeting scheduled Thursday, July 22nd. And I gotta say, maybe this isn't the best time to dive into the strategic plan, but I can certainly send comments. I'll be gone the 19th through the 25th. So someone, the vice president, will have to chair the meeting. And
Or we could move the meeting.
also true. Also true. If everyone's agreeable, I would be available on the 29th, which is the following Thursday, or the 15th is the previous Thursday. So I don't know. I know that not everyone has their calendar right in front of them, but and we can do the scheduling outside of this meeting too,
Sure.
if we want time to look at calendars and such. But do you know anything offhand there?
Yeah, the 29th would work for,
29th would work for me.
Oh,
yeah.
Either date works for me.
oh.
Yeah, I could work anything in, I think.
Sue, do you have any knowledge of the 29th for having our meeting instead of the 22nd?
I think I'm good the 29th. I do not think I'm good the other date you mentioned, the 15th.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think everyone's good with the 29th, so wonderful. Thank you for flexibility and accommodation there, everyone. And I think that's it for this meeting. Just had a good first in-person meeting, and
Yeah.
new board member, thank you for being here. And we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
There we go. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Sue. Have